This is your need to know. This is your need to know.
All right, so get ready to dive into the world of Drag Race fandom, because we're going to be looking at what fans are saying about the season 17 premiere, specifically on Reddit.
Oh, Reddit.
Yeah, it's so fascinating how these online communities give us like a window into all the different opinions and passionate reactions people have, especially with a show as popular and influential as, well, Drag Race.
Oh, for sure.
So just imagine you're like scrolling through this Reddit thread, comments are flying by, memes are everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of the energy we're bringing to you today.
I love that.
So right out the gate, like first impressions, it seems like the overall feeling about the cast is a little bit lukewarm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the comments are saying that the queens are kind of forgettable this season.
Oh, interesting. So it seems like some viewers felt like the queens didn't have those big attention-grabbing personalities. The ones we've come to expect from a premiere.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But it's interesting, though. There's like another side to this.
Oh, there always is.
Right. Because for every comment that's like, ugh, this cast is bland, there's another one praising this show for, like finally moving away from those typical look queen and dancing twink archetypes.
I see. So this season's cast seems to be, well, a bit more eclectic, a bit more unconventional.
Yeah.
And some fans are seeing that as like a refreshing change of pace. Like they're welcoming the return of the weird and the quirky queens.
I love that.
Maybe suggesting that Drag Race was becoming, well, a little too predictable.
A little too formulaic.
Yeah.
And that brings us perfectly to the talent show.
Oh, the talent show.
Which, let's be honest, it's always a mixed bag.
It is?
Some fans absolutely live for it. Others, they roll their eyes the second RuPaul says those two words, talent show.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what are the Redditors saying about this season's offerings?
Well, you can definitely see that divide in the comments. There are those fans who found the talent show entertaining. They were really into Jules and Susie's performances. But then there's also, well, a pretty big group who felt like it was a bit underwhelming, saying that too many queens relied on like the same old lip sync routines.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that too.
Yeah.
We've seen it all before.
Right.
And speaking of Jules, her original song sparked quite a debate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, her dancing was amazing, don't get me wrong. But the song itself,
Not so much.
not so much.
So there's definitely a sense from some fans that while Jules is, super talented, her songwriting skills might need a little bit more work.
Yeah, a little bit more polishing.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of raises an interesting question. On a show like Drag Race, where the stakes are so high, how do queens find that balance, between showcasing their real talents and delivering what the judges and, well, what the audience expects?
It's a tough line to walk, for sure. And speaking of not quite hitting the mark, we have to talk about Acacia. Forgot.
Oh, Keisha.
She came in with this reputation as a musician, right?
Yeah.
But she ended up in the bottom, too.
Wow.
I know, right?
So for some fans, her performance just didn't live up to, well, the hype. It seems like they were expecting something a little more, how do I say this, draggy from her.
Yeah, I think I get what they mean.
It's not enough to just showcase a skill on Drag Race. You have to
Right.
infuse it with that extra personality and performance that makes drag so, so captivating.
Makes it drag.
Yes.
Okay, now let's move on to the lip sync of the week.
Yeah.
So it was Jules versus Susie, battling it out to Katy Perry's Woman's World.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, so was it like a lip sync for the ages?
Not exactly.
Yes.
Let's just say the song choice wasn't exactly a universal hit. A lot of comments were saying they wanted something, more iconic.
Something with a little more energy?
Yes, a song that really gets you going.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, you have the debate about who actually won the lip sync, which turned into this whole discussion about what even makes a good lip sync.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So some fans felt that Jules brought the energy, that she was really embodying the song, even if it wasn't, the most exciting song. But others were actually praising Susie's originality and her comedic approach.
Really?
Yeah, some even argued that she was maybe intentionally poking fun at the song.
Oh, that's an interesting take.
Right.
Makes you wonder if RuPaul favors queens who, make her laugh, even if their lip sync skills aren't, the strongest.
Yeah, good point.
Speaking of RuPaul, we can't forget about the guest judge. It kind of stirred up a bit of a frenzy this week.
Oh, who was it?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Was she a hit or a miss with the fans?
You know, the reaction to Katy was really mixed. Some fans thought she was a little awkward, like she was trying too hard to fit into the Drag Race world. You know?
Yeah, trying to be too cool for school.
Yeah, but then there were others who were living for her shady moments, especially that she-devil comment directed at Sam Starr.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was pure gold. It definitely left people wondering if there was, some behind-the-scenes producer manipulation happening.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But hey, that's reality TV for you.
Exactly.
Always a little bit of a conspiracy theory in the making.
Right.
Okay, so before we move on to some of the standout queens,
Yes.
let's touch on a few other fan reactions that, kind of caught my eye.
Sounds good.
What else is the Reddit hive mind buzzing about?
Well, there's some chatter about the new stage design.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some fans are criticizing it for being too spacious and lacking definition.
Interesting.
Yeah, they feel like it doesn't have the same visual impact as past seasons.
I see. And what about the new voting format where the queens, rank each other's performances?
Oh.
It seemed like a recipe for drama.
Right. Well, that's actually where you see some real fatigue from the fandom. Like they're calling it a tired reality show trope and saying that they want more originality from the show.
Yeah, they want something fresh.
Yeah, something that breaks away from those predictable reality TV formulas.
Makes you wonder if Drag Race needs to, evolve its format to stay, relevant.
It's a valid point.
Yeah, totally.
So are you ready to dive into some of the queens who are already making waves?
Absolutely. Let's hear what the fans are saying about the early standouts. All right, so before we were talking about how some fans are already kind of feeling a little bit of fatigue with the show's format.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder, is Drag Race starting to rely a little too heavily on those, tried and true reality TV tropes?
It's an interesting question, isn't it? Because on one hand, you have those familiar elements that fans, have come to love. The shade,
Yes.
the drama, the lip syncs. But on the other hand, there's a risk of, becoming a little stale if you don't introduce any new elements.
Right, you got to keep things fresh. And speaking of shaking things up, let's talk about some of the queens who are already standing out.
Yes.
Lexi Love, for example.
Ah, Lexi Love.
She seems to be generating a lot of buzz online.
She really does, yeah. I mean, some are even calling her like an early frontrunner.
Wow, already.
It's early days, but yeah. People are drawn to her old school glamour, her captivating personality, and that sense of, authenticity that just shines through. Remember how some fans felt like the cast lacked those, those lived experiences?
Yeah.
Well, Lexi's giving them that. In spades.
Totally. You really get the sense that she has a story to tell, like a real depth beyond, the runway.
Yeah.
And speaking of the runway, her confessional look. Yeah. People were making comparisons to Maya Rudolph.
Oh, wow.
And Allison Janney.
That's high praise.
I know, right? That's a pretty epic combination.
It is. It speaks to her versatility.
Yeah.
And her ability to embody, different characters.
Totally. Now, another queen who's making waves is Susie Toot.
Susie Toot?
Her tap dancing talent show, that was a hit.
It was.
And her unique makeup has sparked comparisons to Jinx Monsoon.
Oh, interesting.
I know, right? Susie. I love her, quirky, offbeat style. It's so refreshing.
It is.
But I have to admit, some of the comments about her makeup were pretty harsh. Yep. People were calling it poorly blended.
Ouch.
Not a look. It's interesting, right? Because it's a great example of how what resonates with one viewer might completely turn off another.
Totally.
It seems like Susie's aesthetic is either love it or hate it.
You get it or you don't.
You get it or you don't. There's no in between.
Not a lot of middle ground there.
And speaking of polarizing queens, we have to talk about Sam Starr.
Oh, Sam Starr.
She's definitely given off those unhinged vibes.
Unhinged, yeah.
The words psychotic and smile while I kill you came up a lot in the Reddit thread.
It's intense.
Oh, yeah.
But she's definitely a queen who knows how to, make a statement. And she's already being compared to iconic Drag Race villains like Trinity the Tuck and Laganja Estranja.
Yeah.
You can see that love her, hate her energy building around her.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say, though, some of the comparisons people came up with were hilarious. Someone even said she looks like JoJo Siwa was the villain in Showgirls.
Oh, my God.
I know. That's a visual I need to see.
Right. It speaks to her ability to, to make an impact, to create an image that, sticks in your mind.
Yeah, you might not like her. But you're definitely not going to forget her.
Exactly.
And speaking of queens who are hard to forget,
Yeah.
we have to talk about Corey.
Oh, Corey.
She's got that, sharp wit.
Yeah.
And she's not afraid to throw some shade.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Some fans are finding her hilarious, while others are calling her, well, nasty.
It seems like she's walking that line between funny and mean. And it'll be interesting to see which side she, leans into as the season goes on.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. This brings up another interesting point from the Reddit discussion. A lot of fans are commenting on the lack of, behind-the-scenes footage in the premiere.
Oh, yeah.
They miss seeing the queens interacting in the workroom, getting ready for the runway, just, generally kikiing with each other.
Yeah, I get that. I think it speaks to a larger desire for that sense of intimacy and connection
Yeah.
we used to get from Drag Race. Those unguarded moments allowed us to see the queens as real people, not just characters on a TV show.
Right. It humanized them. It made us feel like we were, part of their journey.
Exactly.
And without that, it can feel a bit sterile, impersonal.
I agree.
Yeah.
And speaking of missing elements, remember how we were talking about some fans feeling that talent show fatigue?
Oh, absolutely.
It seems like a lot of viewers are ready for the show to move beyond that format and introduce some fresh challenges.
Yeah, they want something new.
One commenter even suggested that instead of a talent show, they could have, a design challenge or a singing challenge with a specific theme.
Oh, that's a good idea. And I saw another comment that really resonated with me. It said, hiring a producer to add music to your poem about snatching the crown and then flipping around is not a talent.
Now that's shady.
I know, right? But I think a lot of fans are just, craving more creativity and originality.
Yeah.
Less reliance on those predictable tropes.
Absolutely. It's about, pushing boundaries, showing us something we haven't seen before.
Exactly. Well, there you have it. We've talked about fan reactions to the cast, the challenges, the guest judge, even the production itself. But there's one more, juicy topic we need to address.
Oh, you mean the great woman's world lip sync debate?
You know it. That song choice really got people talking. Okay, so we're back and ready to unpack what might be the most controversial element of the season 17 premiere. That lip sync song choice.
Oh, yeah.
Katy Perry's Woman's World. It really divided the fandom.
It did. It's fascinating how something like a song can spark, such passionate debate. It just highlights how deeply invested fans are in Drag Race.
Yeah.
They want to see these queens lip sync to songs that are, iconic, high energy, worthy of the main stage.
Right. They want to lip sync for the ages.
Exactly.
And Woman's World just didn't hit the mark for a lot of viewers. I mean, the Reddit thread was filled with comments calling it boring, uninspired, even unbearably shit. Yeah, I know, right?
It seems like the general consensus is that it lacked that, that oomph factor, that ability to get the adrenaline pumping and create a truly memorable lip sync moment.
Yeah, it needed a little more energy. But even with, a less than ideal song, both Jules and Susie managed to turn it out. So naturally, the conversation shifted to, okay, but who actually won the lip sync?
Right. And that's where we see those, differing perspectives on what makes a good lip sync really come into play.
Exactly.
Some viewers felt that Jules, with her, high energy splits and death drops, was really giving it her all, while Susie's more comedic approach didn't quite match, the vibe of the song.
Yeah. I saw a lot of comments saying that Susie's style, while entertaining, just didn't fit the mood of Woman's World.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like they wanted her to, take the song more seriously.
It raises the question, though, does a lip sync have to be a serious emotional performance to be considered good?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or is there room for, humor and a more lighthearted approach?
I don't know. It's tricky. And some fans were actually praising Susie for her originality and her ability to, make them laugh, even suggesting that she might have been intentionally, making fun of the song.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, right? Was it a case of Susie using humor to elevate a weak song choice? Or was RuPaul simply rewarding a queen who made her laugh?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like a Drag Race conspiracy theory in the making.
Right.
And this, I think, is what makes these deep dives into fan reactions so fascinating. You get to see all these different interpretations of the same event, these competing perspectives that challenge you to think critically about what you just watched.
Totally. It reminds us that there's no single, right way to view Drag Race. It's all about embracing those, diverse opinions and engaging in respectful debate.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into this season 17 premiere, what are the key takeaways? What can we, learn from the fans' reactions?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that the Drag Race fandom is, well, incredibly passionate and invested. They care deeply about this show, and they're not afraid to voice their opinions, whether it's about the cast, the challenges, the guest judges, or even the song choices.
Yeah, it's all fair game.
And those opinions can be, well, pretty wide-ranging.
For sure.
It's clear that there's no single Drag Race viewer. Everyone brings their own unique perspective and set of expectations to the show.
Right. Everyone watches it through their own lens.
Exactly. And that diversity of viewpoints is what, keeps the conversation so lively and engaging.
It's what keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think this premiere has shown us that Drag Race, even in its, 17th season?
17th.
Still has the power to, spark debate.
Yeah.
Challenge norms, and entertain us with its unique blend of charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So to our listeners, as you continue watching this season unfold, we encourage you to, keep those critical thinking skills sharp. Pay attention to what resonates with you, what challenges your assumptions, and what, sparks your own passionate reactions. Because in the world of Drag Race, there's always more to unpack, more to analyze, and more to gag over. Until next time.
This is your need to know. Those rock hard abs drive me wild, jolted like a tasty candy bar. His muscular build makes me go mild, healthy eye candy from afar. His taste smolders like hot caramel, melting me down to sugary sweet. Chocolate chip just I want to tell you look delicious enough to eat. Powerful arms are sturdy as toffee, biceps that could snap a jaw. I crave his licorice physique. Oh gee, this hunky beefcake is quite the heartbreaker. With lollipop lips sweeter than maraschino. His kiss and shivers like pop rocks exploding. One lick of that ripped Willy Wonka torso, and then I'll be a molten hot fudge river rolling. Fizzy soda pop curves decorate his form, bubbles coursing beneath that top skin. One sip of those sparkling pecs would transform me to a naked with a lemon zest or chocolate swirl, this high candy man's good enough to savor. A sugary sculpture, the ultimate dream girl, for which I'll forever burn with fierce flavor. Zest or chocolate swirl, this eye candy man's good enough to savor. A sugary sculpture, the ultimate dream girl, for which I'll forever burn with fierce flavor. Those rock hard abs drive me wild, sculpted like a tasty candy bar. His muscular build makes me go mild, healthy eye candy from afar. His gaze smolders like hot and shivers like